Mr. Chairman, thank you, and certainly do look forward to working with you and the ranking member on this subcommittee when it has to do with public lands. As Senator Reed said, 87% of Nevada is owned by the federal government. Public lands and mining, as you can imagine, are two huge issues facing the state. So anyway, I'd like to speak briefly, if I may, on the Nevada bills that are before us today. S757 does two things. The first is to allow the city of Mesquite, Nevada, and Lincoln County, Nevada, to use the funds in their respective special accounts that were created over a decade ago for conservation. Both the city of Mesquite and Lincoln County were charged with the development and implementation of a multi-species habitat conservation plan. Unfortunately, the BLM has determined that the lack of the word implementation in the enabling laws means that special account funds that could have been used for conservation have been languishing. I think we can all agree that money is better spent on protecting habitat on the ground than sitting in special accounts at BLM. The second thing S757 does is provide the city of Mesquite with additional time to purchase land around their airport. This is necessary because the economic downturn meant the city had to reprioritize spending, and the city still wishes to purchase the land for long-term development, and this bill will allow them to do so. Senate 342, the Pine Forest Range Recreation Enhancement Act, is an example of what I believe is a wilderness done right bill. This legislation was developed in order to resolve outstanding wilderness study areas in Humboldt County. It is a result of a collaborative community process where all stakeholders were given a seat at the table. Legislation will improve recreation access, provide appropriate permanent protection in the Pine Forest Range. This type of collaboration is a model for how public land designation should be handled. Please to support this wilderness legislation. But there's no more urgent legislation for Nevada than the Lyon County Economic Development and Conservation Act. Senator Reed mentioned Senate 159. I authored this legislation initially to answer the desperate needs in Lyon County for economic development and activity. This bill is an excellent example of the balance between conservation and development. Currently, Lyon County has 14.2% unemployment. It is the highest unemployment rate in the state with the highest unemployment in the nation. Both the city and the county have had to severely cut staff and services, and without this legislation and the economic activity it will bring, they'll be forced to cut more essential services. This bill will convey to the city at fair market value approximately 12,500 acres of federal land with no conservation value surrounding the Pumpkin Hollow project site. Upon completion of the conveyance, the Pumpkin Hollow project is estimated to create 800 mining jobs, 500 construction jobs. The lands conveyed by this bill will also be used for industrial, recreation, and infrastructure purposes that will create sorely needed jobs and economic development for Yerington. The bill will also designate the Wavoka Wilderness Area while protecting the rights and interests of ranchers and miners who earn their living on the land in the area. The newly created wilderness will protect habitat and important cultural resources for generations to come, and I'm pleased to have worked with Senator Reed to find a balance between development and conservation that will create jobs in Lyon County and beyond. Again, I want to thank Senator Reed for his support and help on this, but more importantly, I want to thank his staff. Between his staff and my staff working together to solve these issues and these problems, we're going to move Nevada forward, and I look forward to doing that. And I urge all my colleagues to support these important pieces of legislation. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Johnson.